All right, let me look at this dev update from Battlefield 2042. Whenever this shit comes out, we'll
The
play
guy
it.
looked fucking miserable.
Oh.
He looked like he hated being in the game.
What's this guy? He's like, am I in the game?
He's like, fuck my life. I hate being in this game.
Yeah. All right, so there.
You should expect over the next few months and beyond for Battlefield 2042.
Give me a second, Flippy. We're going to
I'm
react
Freeman,
to this real
Battlefield's
quick.
community manager. I'm joined by senior producer Ryan MacArthur and
jump
creative
in
director
here.
Lars Gustafsson.
Let's start by
Let's
talking
see.
about the main focus areas that we've identified and the types of things we're looking to improve.
Oh, you've identified. Let me just stop this and say you've identified them. Okay, well, let's stop right there because it was we that identified them. We told you about them months ago. In fact, during the beta. But okay, fine. You identified them, Joe. I'm already starting on a bad foot. Okay, here we go.
Feedback from the players, looking at the
Okay,
data we
feedback
have in
from
the
the
game,
players.
looking
Thank
at the
you.
game we intended to build. So we've got our maps. You know, how do we bring back those classic Battlefield experiences that allow players to sort of play the classic Battlefield they want? And that's with all the new maps we create, but also how do we address the challenges that we have with the existing maps that we've launched the game with? Our game was an
How do we
experience.
make the maps not suck?
How do we add depth? How do we add differentiation across all of the modes in the
How
game?
do we fix our
The core
modes?
gameplay, so
I'll
that
translate.
means tied
I'm
to
like the
gun
bullshit
experience.
translator.
Obviously, there's been a lot of feedback around specialists, gunplay.
You guys told us we don't like
soldier movement,
specialists.
all of these things that sort of really
But
make
we
that
have to
type
really
of
make this work
experience that our
because EA
players
wants
love.
to make it work.
And obviously
so.
new content. When's new content coming? What type of content can players can expect? How does that new content need
We've
to
been
change and
focusing on
adapt to
fixing the game. We
learnings
haven't
we've
had
got
time
from
to
our
make new
players, the feedback
content.
we've got from our players.
Ryan, let's start with this first section of maps. What are the changes that players can expect to see? And really, when are we expecting to actually
Well, they're
bring
not
them to the
flat
game?
and
You're going to
lifeless.
see the first of
It's
these
funny they
changes
don't even
with
have
the launch of Season
Battlefield
1.
42,
So
2042
the Season 1
background.
map, it's probably my most favorite.
It's not
Lars will
Battlefield
tell
1,
me it's
is
'cause
it?
I'm
You're
Canadian,
right.
but,
It's
Like,
Battlefield
remember the
1,
good old days?
Battlefield 4,
different from the other segment we
Battlefield,
created at
any
launch.
Battlefield
It's got
in
a ton of
2042.
verticality. It's got good
They're like,
space for vehicle
remember.
play, but it's also got those things that make a Battlefield map great. When you look
Please
at
be
how
nice
this
to
map
us.
plays, it's at the level we expect from ourselves as game makers here. You know, on every map we make forward, moving
Did they
forward with
apologize?
season,
No, I
beyond
don't think
season
there's
one,
an apology
we
in
start to
here.
apply these new standards we've set. But also the team has done a real deep dive into the maps we created for launch. Kaleidoscope is the first one we're going to see. So late in Season 1, you're going to see a reintroduction of Kaleidoscope that sort of has, you know, the things that we see our players really craving at the moment.
Let's take a look at that and have a look at some of the changes. On
Craving at the
Kaleidoscope,
moment.
we've revised areas
Craving
across
in the Battlefield
entire
series for
level, adding more
decades,
cover,
but okay.
creating new flag positions,
They're trying
and improving the flow
they're
across
desperately
the whole
trying to
map.
position this as, you know, like so that they could still, it's an official release from EA and DICE. So you can see, look at how we're reacting to our player feedback. It's like, bro, like you fucked up. And all you're doing is fixing what you fucked up. You're not really reacting to the feedback. Sure, the feedback has been negative, and we're telling you exactly what to fix, but honestly, it shouldn't have been broken in the first place. We should have been having seasons and new content already, but okay, whatever.
Cover and terrain has been
Like the
raised
meme on
and
the
new
bike
forward
where he's
operating
riding the bike
bases
and
have
he,
been
like,
added
jams
to
up his
increase
own,
close
pedals
quarters
and he falls
combat.
off it. He's
Not
like, oh, I blame the player base.
Yeah, let me turn you up here so that I can hear. Okay.
Only that, but
Here we
we've
go.
made sure more of the new assets that we've used on this map benefit
Yeah,
from increased
so
destruction.
lot,
helping to
you're
change the
basically
battlefield
adding more shit to
drastically
the
throughout
map.
the rounds.
You got
Let me
boxes
show you
and
around the
cranes
changes we've
and
made.
things to hide
In the
behind,
park, we've installed
making
a
it
forward
look
operating
more
base.
fun.
Heavily fortified. This is
Sure,
great to
this little
defend
area
and a
looks
challenge
great.
to
I can
attack.
have some great
At
battles
the
in
data
there,
center,
but honestly,
we've
I don't
increased
want
the
to
number
play
of defense
2042.
points, ensuring that
It's not
when
like
you're
you're going to
fighting
change
here,
the
you're fighting
specialists.
for every inch.
You have those
All you're
massive
doing
battles.
Yeah, massive battles. Well, they're toning
100?
that down.
Exactly.
Is now better protected, and we've helped to improve line of sight
no,
growth
we're not
Selling
throughout
point of the
the
game.
Dude,
At the
don't you want
tower,
a bigger
you'll
battle?
find the
Yes,
second-
but we're not going to do that.
One of the modes, I think they're getting
command
rid of
and
it, but it's
control
still
base.
there in another mode.
In Breakthrough, this is a crucial flag
Breakthrough,
with a
they're
much clearer
reducing.
front line and more
So
cover
your
for
point
attackers
stands,
to
actually.
use in their advance.
What's funny
Over at the
though is that
park,
if you have a
we've
look
ripped
at the
out the wa-
assets, they're pretty much just dragged assets from Battlefield 4.
Oh, yeah, they're
Just
just
plonk them in
dragging it in.
2042.
In fact, this might be assets that they already had laying around, and they're just plopping them on the map. They're like, look, everybody clap.
Walkways and
Yikes.
created more cover. You'll find that the infantry
You're
experience has
craving more
improved
cover,
here, adding
and we're
a giant
giving
tree
it to you.
and making the gazebo smaller to create a stronger defensive layout.
And now, while a little earlier in the process, let's take a look at Renewal and how it is that'll play when it arrives in Season 2.
Kaleidoscope
Like with
2.0,
Kaleidoscope, the
Renewal
whole map has
2.0.
been reviewed with the intent set on improving the infantry and CQC experience. Flags are much closer, with out-of-the-way sectors cut entirely from the battlefield to improve the flow of combat.
Yeah,
With all new assets deployed across the map,
mess.
with improved destruction and much more of a battlefield
more
feeling
cover,
than we
look
had
at
at
that.
launch. Over at the solar station, we've revised the area to include much more cover. Huge concrete barriers, sandbag walls, and
So
shipping
more boxes,
containers,
basically.
saving the warehouses as the best place to take
Oh
shelter
boy, I
from the
can't.
aerial
Let me
assault.
see this shit on YouTube. Let me see how
Real
this
assault.
is going over.
Out in the desert, we've reworked the terrain to help create clear paths for infantry and vehicles. There's improved line of sight blockers that let you
I
move
agree,
with
my
more
friend.
purpose between the flags and help to better direct the
I
action.
love that when
to
he starts
clear
talking
our
about
front lines. The
specialists.
battery farm has been
We heard
simplified,
you. It's-
reducing the
we
number of
heard-
possible angles of attack and increasing
I gotta
cover
put that
where it's
on.
needed most. Up ahead at the checkpoint, we've fortified the farm side, allowing attackers to move more strategically in their advance, with vehicles providing your best method of attack. Just watch out for the traps defenders will place in wait. At the Sonesco building, expect a lot more fortification and cover that will need an overwhelming display of force to assault. The interiors have been reworked with new storage areas that give plenty of cover for defenders and improve the close quarters combat action. Once
Yes,
you get
inside
Corridors are
buildings,
full
we're
of
gonna
more
add
line of
more
sight blockers,
boxes and
making them
bags.
viable defense points, including new lines of
16
sandbags
times
across
the
the
boxes.
windows. We're hard at work
Perfect. 16 times the boxes.
on more improvements to Renewal, and we'll have more to show about the changes we're making here when these updates land in Season 2. Let's talk
I'd
about
like
our next big...
experience and mode. So what I'd like is, how about you pull out specialists and give us classes in a new mode, right? And that's what fans have been feedbacking to you. But are you gonna listen? I don't know.
Focus, which is game modes and experience. What are the types of changes we're looking to bring here?
It's two key things. One of them is about, variety and depth of what you play. And the other part is more around the available options to give you a better understanding of what you're getting yourself into. And in order to get this, experience the best possible, we've decided to kind of unshackle ourselves from the 128 players mantra that we had for this game.
Yeah.
128 players will still be there, and it's great for some modes, but not everywhere. So we will redirect our focus, build for fun, for freedom, for creativity at all points.
That being the case, then, talk to me some more about the types of changes that we're going to be bringing specifically. Let's start with All-Out Warfare, and let's talk about Conquest. What improvements are we looking to bring here to the game mode?
So for All-Out Warfare and Conquest, 128 players is definitely a thing. Worth saying is that for the coming months...
Yeah, so I knew that they were going to commit to 128 players, but they had this mantra that we can't change it, we can change it, and honestly, a lot of the people that play the game were picking up that maybe it's not working out for it. I think in certain modes it can work out, because I've always asked for more players, but I don't want them to throw it completely out and say, we're going back to 64 because it didn't work. No, you fucked up so many other things that the 128 also didn't work in, say, Breakthrough. So I'm glad that they're keeping both and they're not completely throwing out 128 and going to 64 only.
We will scale them down compared to the launch maps to give much more focus in the experience. This might mean that, there will be fewer sectors, we have maybe fewer capture points, but ultimately we want to ensure that your Conquest experience have kind of intense combat areas. And above all, for me, is those times when you feel that you're getting shot at from all directions by the enemy to help you get in control, and we can do this through design.
Okay, so if that's going to be Conquest, what about Breakthrough? What changes are we making here?
I love Breakthrough, I've always done, and it's that immersive frontline experience. And in the light of the 128-player discussion here, in order to retain, the promise that it comes with of outsmarting your opponents, we have taken an active decision now to move permanently to 64 players to gain a better gameplay experience. Let's focus on fun.
It was too chaotic with 128, and it was pretty insane. So I don't know. You would need to create specific maps and specific modes and everything around 128, and I guess they just didn't do it. And so they're going to taper everything back down to 24 or 64.
I don't know if I missed it or not. Are they going to do anything with Hazard Zone?
Oh, well, we're halfway through the video, Joe. I doubt it. Let's see.
What it's all about and enabling our players on the battlefield. We can take all of the knowledge we have in this house when it comes to Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 in building Breakthrough in great ways for 64 players.
Let's talk a little bit about Hazard Zone. What's our future here?
Here it comes.
First acknowledge, high hopes. We set out on a path but we haven't gained the traction we wanted with this mode. You can.
In other words, it was a complete and utter failure. I mean, that's the best you're gonna get from them. It's a dead on arrival mode. I predicted it. We all predicted
just for me.
Yeah.
Still find it in the mode selection screen.
You can still find it in the
but
mode.
for the maps that put it as a focus. When we look at where our players are today, it means that we can pour our love and resources into the all-out warfare experience. We can
they're abandoning it.
Additional tools.
We're gonna put resources in other places. Good. Good. That's basically it. They just it's over. They said, well, it's still gonna be there. Well, it's there now and nobody plays it.
Talked about it for like 5 seconds.
We fucked up. They fucking admitted it. God, could you imagine how much better this game would have been if they didn't fucking bother with the hazard mode in the first place, or at least put in the a good amount of resources into it to make it a worthwhile mode. But they kind of half-assed it, and that's what they get.
So we've covered our plans for maps. We've covered our plans for game modes and experiences. Next, we want to talk about core gameplay. And there's a lot to unpack here, so do stick with us. Obviously, there's a big change on a big area that we want to address today, and that's specialists.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, we've talked about this a lot. I think, this isn't the easiest topic, but I think the key for us is that we've heard you. And I think, when we look at this...
There it is. Look, the subtitles, we've heard you instead of heard you. It's look, they're even smiling about it. They got the smirks because it's like, look, we as Battlefield in the community, we just don't like it. We've tried it, we gave it a chance, and it's just not working. That is for other games, and people's like, well, what's the big deal? Other games are like that. Well, maybe we don't want our game to be like every single other fucking game out there. We like the Battlefield experience, so they don't want to go outright and delete the specialists. But I'm willing to bet that if there's going to be the next Battlefield title, ain't going to be the fucking specialists. If there is, holy shit, they're going to be hell to pay from the old Battlefield veterans. They better be branching off into 2 franchises, like Bad Company, which is the classic, and then 2043 or something for people that like this shit. But okay.
The feedback we're getting, I mean, these have both been polarizing, but they've also been confusing. There's that sort of disconnect between the quips.
No, it's not. It is not confusing. It is polarizing, and that's it. Stop trying to be like, well, the reason why you don't like it is because you guys are confused.
From these specials, they don't quite fit, and they break the immersion for players, which has always been core to Battlefield. They're too pristine, right? So we need to, they need to be dirty, they need to be gritty. How do we fit that in?
Are you out of your mind? You think that the reason why we don't like the Battlefield is because they're too clean? They needed dirt on their face. Are you out of your mind? Joe, did you hear this motherfucker?
Unfortunately.
What the fuck is he talking about? They're too clean. They need to be dirty. They need to be gritty, and then you'll like it, and everybody will fucking like it.
That's what it was. I knew something was off.
I knew, yeah.
It wasn't the bullshit modes they had. It's because the players were too clean.
By the way, Joe, I saw the dog earlier tonight. Kind of took a piss and shit right there.
Is this for me webbing you?
That's right, Joe. And did you know that all we really needed to do was make it look like the guy wanted to be in the game rather than not want to be in the game? All right, let's hear.
See in the specialists is improved VO. That kind of really fits them in the world. Body postures to sort of make them sort of fit in that Battlefield character.
Body posture, as if the specialists were like this in the game. And that's why people didn't like it, because their posture was bad. They were like, oh, and now we straighten them up, and then they're all like, yeah, fucking, they're like Giga Chads now. And they're like, do you like our specialists?
They're looking like Quasimodo. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
That we're trying to create.
Well, to make it look like that they've been on, the gym for days, and make it look like they haven't showered in weeks.
They haven't showered in weeks. This is the Battlefield we're trying to create, so y'all just shut the fuck up and take it. Okay, well, let's see what they have to say.
The gameplay side of our specialists. I mean, this is something the team is still very focused on. We're just not yet in a space where we can share the final plan. You know, as we shared earlier this year, you know, we set out on the task of
later this year,
better meshes into our core gameplay loops. You know, better communicating how these fit into the class structure of 2042, which was always our intent. The things that are stopping us from moving, you know,
what class structure in 2042? You mean the specialists?
These changes sooner is to making sure that we can still deliver the key content that our players need and address all the other changes that you need to make. We know that what we have in the game today can be improved. You know, we've taken the expectations that our players have and they've shared with us, you know, and we want to make sure that we can deliver on that at the best possible quality. I mean, we're not walking away from specialists. They're a key part of 2042, but we need to make sure we get it right.
You mean they're a key part of what EA and what the suits want for Battlefield? It's not what the community wants. It's not a fucking mobile transaction thing where you can make new specialists and new battle passes and new fucking skins for the specialist, exclusive to that specialist, new powers. Oh my god, he's so overpowered, everybody buys him and then it's split. And then later on the dev team corrects it based on your feedback. Do you see this kind of shit? This is modern gaming at work here. We're not abandoning it. They're a key part of 2042. Well, guess what, EA? Did you see the sales for 2042? Did you see the player base for 2042? Especially how quickly it dropped off. Well, if this is a key part of 2042, then that's a key part of why that shit happened and why you got this reaction. I'm not sure if you're getting that yet, but maybe you will towards the end of the year when you reveal more changes to specialists. I don't know.
And we can deliver to our players what they deserve.
We want to make sure to get it right and deliver our players what they deserve, which is a specialist-driven microtransaction system that's not bad now, but will be bad in the future. Look, I've been through this whole song and dance. I saw it happen to Halo Infinite. It's probably going to happen fucking here, but okay. If y'all want to continue playing around with fire, you want to continue fucking around with specialists, that's fine, but I'm just going to let you know what's going to happen. I'm going to let you know what happened first time. You didn't listen to me. And now you're out where you're making these videos. It's not even an apology. It's like we're listening to feedback. That's all you're listening to, but you're not doing it. Okay. You're putting fucking boxes and shit on the maps. You're making the map smaller and you're decreasing the player count because it's a fucking chaos. It's pure fucking unfucking polished chaos.
Now on to Gunplay. Naturally, you'll have seen loads of updates and improvements that we've helped to bring to the game over the last few months, but particularly with our most recent update last month. But there's some longer-term plans too. Lars, do you want to talk us through them?
Definitely. You'll see more vehicles, weapons, gadgets. While this is happening...
Oh, more weapons. How generous of you, since we only had, what, in the 20s? Really? For a fucking full-priced game with no single player, you gave us a tiny amount of guns, and don't worry, there's more weapons coming. It's like fucking 2.
What doesn't matter? The attachments feel like nothing.
Yeah.
There's no point to attachments.
We'll have a continuous focus on the balance of our weapons across the board. While we do
the PP, they already took care of the PP, Joe. They nerfed your PP.
You know, attachment system.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, that one definitely helps you.
Your PP is unnerfable, yeah.
Weapon and give unique
my PP too, Joe. We have the original PPs. They never were able to fucking change that.
Cherry picking a number of classic weapons from Portal to be able to rework these to be brought into the all-out warfare. So
get this. They're like cherry picking. They just said, "You want more weapons? Okay, we'll pull some from the other games to pull in." 42. Okay, I mean that's the easiest and quickest method, I guess. Give us the old
more
guns.
Weapons up to the standards across the board. Weapons, guns. Do I need to say more?
Looking at this. Next, we're going to speak about movement and the polishing updates that we're helping to bring to the game here. In July, as part of Season 1, we've got some big updates coming to how our traversal kind of works.
July is the start of their Season 1. Jesus Christ.
Our goal is to improve the readability of body motions in third person and making our soldier animations look more alive and believable.
November
2021.
2021.
The aiming from turning. When aiming around, the soldier can now rotate his upper body separately from the lower body until they get to an uncomfortable position.
Wow!
The lower body to reposition in a more natural and comfortable manner. Another example of this includes several improvements to changing directions when either running around or sprinting. Portions of the body can now lean towards the direction of the movement, which makes for nicer looking animation,
now suck his own dick.
more natural and predictable movements. We're looking forward to showing more of what we have in store in the future updates.
Whoa, you can do ice skating
playing together
now.
and staying
Sweet.
easily with squads is, of course, vital to anyone playing Battlefield. And so getting team play where it needs to be, that is something that we're working on.
Where's the vehicles?
The team is
no
looking
talk
very
of
heavily at how
vehicles.
we can pull
They're,
those
the
things together.
fucking
How do I
shit is
make
broken.
building
Well, I
squad
mean,
easier?
recent updates, I
How do I
guess,
make sure I can find
cut down on the goddamn fucking vehicle spam. But I don't know. I think the vehicles needs a pass.
friends and play with, be that, you know, on the same platform or cross-platform. You'll start to see the first pass in Season 1 with some of the UI improvements, and those are going to continue as we try and make the UI more understandable, more accessible for both finding modes, finding players, and staying together.
Okay, our next topic then is something we know we need to talk to you guys about, and that's performance. I appreciate we're going to be speaking pretty directly to our PC players here today.
Yeah, we fucked up. Sorry.
But since launch, this has been a pretty big focus for our technology teams.
Remember as well, they said this game was way ahead of schedule.
Oh, right. Yeah. Clearly not.
It's been an issue for many of you, our players, with the game dropping below our own expectations and certainly your expectations when it comes to playing the game on recommended and high-spec machines. Ryan, do you want to speak a bit more to this?
Well, I wish this was something that you could just, you know, fix a thing and we're good and we're done. And it's just unfortunately, you know, this is going to be that ongoing battle that we have. But the good thing is this team is committed to it. And the great thing is we see with 0.4, we started to see, you know, some of those big CPU spikes. We made a big dent in those. We're seeing better latency.
We made a dent in our performance issues. Okay. Oh, okay. That when you're talking like this about a product that has been worked on for years, it's oh man.
Responsiveness is getting back to where they expected to be, and we're seeing an improvement in frame rate. And we're going to keep pushing and get more of that sorted as we head into Season 1 as well.
Okay, finally then, to cover our upcoming content, Lars, where are we at with that?
Next month, with the launch of Season 1, it really is going to mark, you know, the start of a year of delivery. 4 seasons, 4 new specialists, new exotic locations for you to play on, and tons of new gameplay content. All of these seasons will then come with their own battle pass. For
hey, you know that stuff that you didn't really want in the first place? Don't worry, it's still fucking coming.
That extra push, something to achieve. All of us in this building are here ultimately to ensure that you're out there on the battlefield, playing together, having fun, finding new ways to outsmart each other. And in order to do that and keep you going, we are committing to, you know, more weekly missions, to new featured experiences, to new community spotlights, more to keep us.
It's funny that they say new and more, when the Battlefield community is like, we want our classic gameplay. We want old, basically, nostalgia. Your best mode is Portal. And they're like going to give you new and more. Well, you don't need to look for new modes. You need to give us the modes that we've been requesting and wanting.
All happy and going on the battlefield.
So that's our 4 areas of focus for the future of Battlefield 2042, which I'll help to summarise here before we hear from Ryan one final time. Maps, we're making sure that we're reworking both our existing maps, starting with Kaleidoscope as part of Season 1, to help address some of the issues and frustrations that I know we've talked a lot about over the last few months. Experiences and game modes. We are unshackling ourselves from 128 players.
Reducing players,
yes. But do expect to see that with Breakthrough, we're moving down to 64 players. So that we can help to really drive the focus into the fun.
Oh, look at that, a fucking scoreboard!
There is a lot to unpack here.
Oh my God, that's so revolutionary. I never thought of anything like that. It's
to UI and UX stuff that you can read about over on the Battlefield website.
Look, I know that everybody's going to be mad at me for not being as hyped as you are after this video and kind to them. Look, Joe, they're clearly working on it. This is going in the right direction. I just think that years and years of development should have sussed all this out, and all the feedback from the other games and the review scores and everything, that now literally, what are we, 6 months, 8 months out or something? 6 months, right? That they're, at this point, they're going to literally rework everything that has already been developed, right? It's like, it's crazy, but it's a mess. And so they're like, okay, we're going to handle our mess. So I guess what did they do? They added fucking boxes to empty maps that should have never made it through fucking the approval process in the first place. They're going to add character movement or change the character movement. I don't know how that's going to go over. Is it going to be like Battlefield 5? Is it going to be like Battlefield 4? I don't know. I'd have to actually play it. And then they're keeping the terrible specialist system, and they're recommitting to it, and they're reducing the number of players. That's kind of what we've got. And the first new content comes after 8 months being released. I can't be too hyperbolic about this. Battlefield 2042 was a complete disaster, and they are literally still trying to put out fires, 6 to 8 months later. So I don't know. Good, I guess, that they haven't completely given up, and this video wasn't, guys, we're moving on. We're gonna shut down Anthem. Oh wait, this isn't Anthem, this is Battlefield. We're gonna shut down Battlefield. We're gonna move on to the next one. I know there's some players out there that feel that they should, but I know there's still some people that play 2042. And this, I guess, would be much improved for them. Once they get through all of their fixes, we'll come back. Like, I suppose we'll come back with maybe in the beginning of Season 1 or the second half of Season 1. I don't know, when they've worked through all this. But, I mean, I just think the bones there are not Battlefield and the game that we were hoping for. And I'm already looking forward to, God, please come out with Bad Company 3 or something like that. Just, it's a shameful state that Battlefield's in, but I guess at least DICE is committed to trying to improve it a little at a time. It just takes forever. And how much of an impact will this be? Is this truly all for this reason, so that they can get the players back, so they can make a few more sales on the Battle Pass? Because if they release that, if they didn't do any of this and they just released the fucking Battle Pass, the sales would be straight up like that. The sales would be so bad. So yeah, I'm sure all those YouTube channels are fucking ranting and raving about how awesome this is, and Battlefield 2042 is completely saved and it's the best Battlefield ever. And Joe is wrong. Yeah, sure, I was wrong on the first time, wasn't I? All right, well, that's our impressions on the Battlefield 2042 recent development update. It's just shocking, the state that it came out in, and all this time later we're doing this. Okay, cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys. I don't know. I guess I'll cut that together for
Bye,
YouTube.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you guys.
No. Well, actually, I do need to end the stream and restart it so that I can grab that clip and edit it. So give me 1 second to restart.